Welcome and hope you're doing well. Let's go into the 5 things we learned from Omid Djalili. He isn't just a person with Iranian heritage, but a Brit in every sense of the word, who has helped define British comedy that has a growing multicultural audience. Here at Mr. Multicultural, we judge a person by their character, not by their race, colour, or religion.
I think you'll find that spot on.
As reflected in this Punch and Judy show around present-day race relations in the West, when any issue around equality then becomes an issue around race, when it should be around human rights.
This is such a surprise.
And if you agree with this observation, then why don't you join us if new and be part of our multicultural family by subscribing to this channel, as our understanding of being multicultural has been clearly defined by the Cambridge English Dictionary as shown here. My name is Bobby Said. I am the founder of the Emma Show. As shown in our introduction, we have been promoting our multicultural values since 1997. We have always believed that it's the racist culture that creates racism. It's not one's race in this world. Clearly, Omid Djalili didn't have an easy life, as these articles will show. Like many from a Muslim background, we were all labelled as terrorists for just being Muslim. Omid had to still work in a largely white media industry that couldn't ignore his overwhelming talent regardless of the terrorism tag imposed by many upon just being a British Muslim. He overcame some of the difficulties from 9/11 imposed on Muslims, as it was one of the largest racist slurs ever imposed on over 1 billion people.
What is going on? I don't believe it.
That mainly affected millions of Muslims living in the West. Let's hear from Omid, one of our outstanding Emma winners, who had maintained his comedic sense of humour at our ceremony. It's the thing that helped the British overcome the Blitz during the Second World War, and Muslims to overcome the racist slur from being described as terrorists, fueled by this media industry that lives on stereotyping, that has destroyed many lives.
This moment is much bigger than I am. This is for Bert Kwok and Nadeem Sawala, and David Yip and Kenny Lynch. I really wasn't being paid enough tonight not to win. So I have to... Thank you. Thanks to my manager Nigel from Bound and Gagged, and especially to my wife Annabelle, who helps me write my material. You're very kind. Thank you very much.
Number 1. Optimism. Omid Djalili was born on the 30th of September 1965 in Chelsea, London. This will explain why he is a great big Chelsea fan. He is the youngest of 3 children, and both his parents had to work 2 jobs to support the family. His family left Iran several years prior to the Omid's birth to escape any religious persecution. An estimated 80,000 Iranian asylum seekers arrived in the UK after the Iranian Revolution in 1979. Omid was born in the middle of the swinging 60s, a youth-driven cultural revolution aimed at breaking tradition. Despite the openness of that era, life wasn't easy for an immigrant family like Omid's. His family had to take extra money by taking in sick lodgers who came from Iran to get medical assistance. They lived in a shared apartment with the immigrant lodgers near the London Iranian embassy. Number 2. Self-control. These struggles didn't stop Omid from pursuing his dream and working hard. He attended Ulster University in Coleraine, Northern Ireland, where he studied English and theatre studies. Here he was the subject of different discrimination because of his ethnicity and beliefs. He was called the Fenian Turk by the fellow Irish students.
I would like to disagree.
And nearly avoided being shot in Portrush Beach. When he was playing for a 5-a-side football team called the Persian Empire, consisting of a team of Iranian men bonding over their heritage and love of football, he was dropped after revealing his Baha'i identity to the team members.
Why? Why?
He was shocked that the oppression and prejudice from Iran had reached as far as Northern Ireland with its own problems. Despite the struggles, Omid wasn't disheartened. He claims his rowdy days at Coleraine made him the man he is today, and inspired his commitment to talk about multicultural issues as well as his unique comic style. In fact, his first significant success in stand-up comedy was the act, the short, fat kebab shop owner's son, at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe in 1995. Fringe Festival was founded in 1947 and is the largest open access arts festival in the world. Omid's show touched on cultural clashes that shaped his personality as an Iranian immigrant in Britain. He used stereotypes to challenge people's perception of Arab heritage. In 1996, at 31 years old, Omid followed up his success with the act The Arab and the Jew with Jewish comedian Ivor Demina. With this act, he continued using cliches and satire as a response to growing public concern of immigration or racism in the 1990s.
Thank you. Keep the laughter coming. It helps with my asylum application.
Number 3, self-discipline. Omid's talent determination led him to move from stand-up comedy to many acclaimed films. In 1999, he starred in 2 Hollywood blockbusters, in The Mummy and the James Bond blockbuster franchise featuring The World Is Not Enough. When addressing Arab representation in mainstream cinema, Omid had stated, "I've always been frustrated by image of Middle Easterners in film. They're either a gun-wielding terrorist or they shout in a shrill Egyptian accent before being dragged away to an undignified end." Unfortunately, some statistics tell a similar story. Based on the examination by the British Film Institute, out of 235 films production between 2016 and 2019, only 50% met the criteria for an on-screen representation of Black, Asian and ethnic minority individuals, as shown here in these US statistics as well. The industry is still struggling with diversity, which can limit the on-screen career of ethnic minority actors such as Omid's. However, he overcame these barriers once again in 2000 when he was cast in Gladiators, the iconic Oscar-winning film directed by Ridley Scott, that featured great actors like Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. Omid acted alongside an acting giant, the great Oliver Reed. However, during the filming of Gladiators, Oliver Reed sadly passed away on the 2nd of May 1992 in Malta. After the Hollywood experience, Omid went back to his live comedy roots. That year he broke Edinburgh Fringe Festival's box office records with over 16,500 ticket sales and boosted a vast international appeal, performing in the US, Canada and a wide range of European countries. In 2007, his show No Agenda was a huge success, with a sold-out tour across the UK, followed by the debut of the Omid Djalili show later that year. Following these successes, Omid was voted the 60th best stand-up comedian by the British public in the Channel 4 programme, The 100 Greatest Stand-Ups.
Thanks.
That year, he showed his acting talent once again in an iconic Hollywood blockbuster, starring in the Pirates of the Caribbean at the World's End. Number 4, supportive. Having established himself as a versatile performer globally, Omid didn't forget to give back to his community. Through many causes, in 2004, he contributed to the humanitarian response to the Indian Ocean earthquake and the tsunami by taking part in comic relief. The tsunami killed just under 230,000 people in 14 countries surrounding the coast of the Indian Ocean, making it one of the world's deadliest disasters in recorded history. Omid's charity work has continued ever since. From 2010, he has been involved with Christian Aid. Christian Aid is the official relief and development agency of 41 Christian churches across the UK and Ireland. That year, he supported their annual fundraiser, Quiz Aid, with the goal of raising £230,000 for Christian Aid's work with communities in 50 of the world's poorest countries. He has also collaborated with the Prince's Trust on many occasions. The Prince's Trust was founded by Prince Charles, Prince of Wales, in 1976 to help vulnerable young people with access to education, training and employment opportunities. The Trust also responded to the riots in the 1980s due to racism, unemployment and high inflation. Number 5, resourcefulness. It is evident that Omid has shown his commitment to bringing social change on and off screen. He chose once again to tackle the theme of multiculturalism through comedy, appearing in The Infidel in 2010 as a British Muslim going through an identity crisis after discovering he was adopted as a child, having been born to a Jewish family. His film career continued in the 2010s with many projects such as the crime drama Mr. Nice and the TV adaptation of Moonfleet. In 2018, he cameoed as a Greek customs officer in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, the sequel to the original Mamma Mia, the popular musical based on the many famous ABBA songs from the 1970s.
It's going really well.
In summary, he is indeed a minority amongst larger minorities in Britain who were subjected to a lot of racism due to his religion and ethnicity. It isn't easy being from an Iranian heritage when taking on board the negative headlines coming out of the Middle East through the media. However, he has stayed true to his British roots and, more importantly, to the football team he supports since childhood, Chelsea, as he was born not too far from Stamford Bridge.
I love you so much!
He has highlighted the way that Arabs are portrayed in a negative light within films. The need to look at proper role models in the media is crucial for ethnic minorities who are subjected to racism in many forms on a regular basis, especially against Muslims, through Islamophobia that seems to be conveniently ignored, as they are the invisible minorities in the midst of a black and white racial debate.
It's World War III, it's Armageddon, what was that?
True equality means everyone, regardless of your race, colour or religion. So the sooner the media and the establishment follows this line, the better. Why don't you leave us a comment, and if possible, share your own thoughts about being a Muslim in the West. Can you relate to what Omid has gone through, or do you have a different story? And will we now see the end of Islamophobia after the Afghan withdrawal, or will it continue? Would really appreciate a like or even a subscribe, and if possible, please donate on Patreon, however little the amount, to support this channel's ongoing mission to undertake multicultural campaigns. And remember, it's what's inside that counts, a motto we have used at the Emmers, as Omid Djalili has proven. And even a Brit from an Iranian heritage background can make it when multicultural in every sense of the word, due to his character. So until next time, thank you for watching and keep it multicultural.